Welcome back to Hittin Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta. Reminding you, head over to youtube.com, put Locked On Sports Atlanta into your browser search bar, and find our page. Subscribe to it. Leave us a comment there. Free and available, as always, on all of your favorite podcast platforms, including Spotify and Odyssey. 5-star review us if you would, please. And then follow me on my Twitter page at JMCH316. Last night was a terrific win for the Atlanta Braves, 4-3, as they were, it was a little bit frustrating because when you got to the ninth inning, the Braves got themselves down 3-1. And AJ Minter, who's been outstanding, came in and gave up an insurance run. And you thought, all right, crap, 3-1, bottom of the ninth. The bats had really been quiet. They were, I think, through 5 innings before they got their first hit last night, and only had 3 hits going into that ninth inning. They hadn't done anything, hadn't hit the ball real well, struck out a whole bunch, and this, that, and the other. But you saw last night what the best of the Braves are. This is why they won the World Series. This is why they're a contender. This is the best of the Braves. So start with Dansby's at bat. Dansby working the count, getting himself, and finally gets a pitch that's grooved to him, and he hits it out of the ballpark. So we know about the Braves' power, right? We know that they're a team that hits plenty of home runs and they can slug the ball with anybody. They slugged it out with the Giants the other night, came up a little bit short in a 12-10 game, but that's one of the best things about the Braves. But then, Marcell Ozuna comes up and he hits a Funko shot opposite field. Okay, a couple of years ago, when the Braves were rolling and Ozuna was rolling, that's how he was doing it. It wasn't just stand up there, and we talked about Ozuna the other day, stand up there, whack it, and hit a big solo home run or something like that. No, it's hit the ball the other way and get on base, and let's make some things happen, right? So he hits a Funko shot for a single out there. And then Olsen comes up behind him and hits a deep ball to center field. And this is what I love about the Braves, and I wish they would do more of this. So it's a deep ball to center field. The center fielder sort of nonchalance plays. It was kind of a can of corn. I mean, it was hit well, but it was sort of a can of corn. He sort of nonchalance catching it and throwing it back in. Ozuna tags up and goes to second. And so now you got a man on second with 1 out, and he's the tying run at the play, or he's the tying run on base. And that play really kind of signified what the Braves can and should be, being aggressive. What did it lead to? William Contreras comes up and he hits a single out the left. That allows Ozuna to score. Now we got a tie game. So then Contreras, while he's standing on first base, as they're working the pitch and all that, he steals second. Okay, now I got my guy, even though I've got 2 outs, my guy's in scoring position now with 2 outs. If I can get a base hit, he can probably, he's going to run on contract. Contreras isn't fast, but he found a way to steal a base, and he's going to run on contact. And so what happens? Duvall single up the middle. As soon as it hits the bat, Contreras is off. He comes around, beats the throw. Braves win. And it was all set up because of how aggressive they were on the base pass. And it does amaze me that in today's baseball world, that more teams don't steal more bases, aren't aggressive. Well, that's not what the metrics say. Well, what about the first 150 years of baseball? I've been around for a third of that, and I can remember when stealing bases, key base hits, moving runners along was how you won in Major League Baseball. In fact, a lot of teams won championships doing that. Remember those St. Louis Cardinal teams and people like that? You can have guys that, they had Jack Clark or Pedro Guerrero in the middle of their lineup to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but they also just bumped and beeped and booped and bopped and blipped your way around. Base hit here, steal here. Vince Coleman would hit a 2-hopper in the infield, beat it out for a hit, and then steal 2 bases and stand at third base. And everybody's like, what's going on here? All right? You can win like that. And that's the thing that I always talk about with the Braves is doing more of. Their top guys are aggressive. Ozzie, Ronnie, Dansby, those guys are aggressive. But even last night, I always joke about this with Marcell Ozuna. Marcell Ozuna isn't necessarily fast, but he's aggressive on the base pass. And once he gets it chugging and churning, chunka, and he gets it going, he can move a little bit. He can move once he gets going. It may take a minute or two, It's like starting up a Buick on a cold morning, right? You got to get that thing cranked up and going. But once he gets going, he can move a little bit, and he's aggressive. He puts his head down and let's go. I love that about the Braves. I love when they play that aggressive style. You know, Contreras stealing a base. That's that's winning baseball. And that's those you laugh about those little things, but there was a lot of those things that were missing for the Braves in the early part of the year. Being, using their identity to be aggressive, a key base hit, a clutch base hit. What do I always say about Ronnie? Put pressure on the other team's pitcher and defense. There is no substitute for that in baseball. When you watch the playoffs and you watch playoff baseball, when you you don't have nearly as many runners on base in playoff baseball games, right? Because you're seeing all of the best starters, right? You're not getting a lot of fifth starters. Nowadays in baseball, I don't know what they do, whatever like that. But, by and large, your top tier pitchers are pitching most nights. And while many teams don't have a lot of top tier pitchers, but you're guaranteed they're not going to sit a guy out of a series, or you're not going to get lucky and miss a guy in a 7-game series. You're going to face whatever, Scherzer, DeGrom, Kershaw, whatever the name is on the back of the jersey. So base runners are at a premium. And when you get base runners on and you can be aggressive, now you force the defense to make a play. Now you force a pitcher to come out of the stretch. Now you force a catcher to have to make a throw. Now you force an outfielder to have to make an accurate throw. And that's winning baseball. And that last night, watching that, I'm on air last night on the radio show, but also kind of watching and things like that. Watching how they did that last night was textbook way to come out. Isn't it funny that when your back's against the wall and you have to do it a little different way, when you can't just sit back and wait to whack it out of the ballpark, that you find a way to get it done? You tag up, you steal a base, you barrel around third base on a single and make the team make a throw, right? Contreras not a fast guy, but like we said, he's breaking on contact up the middle of center field. Make him make a throw. Make him make a throw. And what the Giants weren't doing and didn't do, and what the Braves were doing, was the difference in that ninth inning last night. And so that's what I want to see out of the Braves. That the clutch, the aggressiveness, they can do that. They have guys and they have the ability to do that. And I think sometimes sometimes you don't let that stallion just sort of run free. And I know all of you sabermetric, analytical, metrosexual people that love all the bips and the bops and the baps and the bleeps and the wars and the battles and all this kind of stuff and all the metric things like that. I get it. Those things don't say. But here's what I know better than a lot of y'all. I know what winning baseball is. I've seen a lot of winning baseball in my life. And last night was textbook as to why the Braves won that game. And I hope that they do more of, and I hope we see more of that moving forward. All right, we thank you so much for making Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery your first listen. Reminding you, make your second listen every day, A to Z with Mark Zinno. Mark is back doing his takes here in Atlanta, things you may not like to hear, but you've got to listen to them. So check out Mark. He is free and available on our YouTube page, Locked On Sports Atlanta, free and available on all your favorite podcast platforms. Download it today and be part of our community. Leave us a 5-star review. Follow me on my personal Twitter page. That would be at JMCH316. We will wrap up the week tomorrow. We'll take a look at what the Hawks draft tonight. This has been Hittin' Hard with Jon Chuckery on Locked On Sports Atlanta.